In 2016, Silicon Valley had a new obsession. It wasn't a social media app, it wasn't a self-driving car. It was this, the Juicero Press, a $699 Wi-Fi connected juicer that promised to revolutionize how we drink juice. Its founder, Doug Evans, compared himself to Steve Jobs. It raised over $120 million from the biggest names in venture capital: Google Ventures, Kleiner Perkins, even the Campbell Soup Company. The machine was a marvel of engineering. It exerted 4 tons of force, enough to lift 2 Teslas, to squeeze every last drop of goodness from these proprietary juice packs. There was just one problem, a tiny, insignificant detail that the engineers, the investors, and the founder all seemed to overlook. You didn't need the machine at all. To understand Juicero, you have to understand its founder, Doug Evans, a charismatic, raw vegan evangelist who had already built and sold a successful juice company, Organic Avenue. Evans had a vision. He saw the future of juice, and it was complicated. He believed that existing juicers were too messy, too hard to clean, and that their spinning blades destroyed nutrients. His solution, a system so perfect, so seamless, that it would bring farm-fresh juice to your kitchen with zero effort. The Juicero system, a high-tech press and pre-packaged subscription-based juice packs. The pitch was irresistible. Evans told investors he was creating the Keurig of juice. He compared himself to Steve Jobs and the Juicero to the first iPhone, and Silicon Valley bought it, to the tune of $120 million. So what did $120 million buy you? A masterpiece of over-engineering. The Juicero press was made of 400 custom parts, including a scanner, a Wi-Fi chip, and a motor capable of exerting 4 tons of force. Here's how it worked. You'd scan the QR code on the juice pack, the machine would check the expiration date over the internet to make sure your juice was fresh. Then, with a press of a button, it would apply those 4 tons of force, squeezing the pre-chopped fruits and vegetables into a perfect glass of juice. The price for this convenience? $699 for the machine, plus $5 to $7 for each single serving juice pack. But for a brief moment in 2016, it was the hottest gadget in Silicon Valley. The New York Times called it the most complicated way to make juice. They had no idea how right they were. For 16 months, Juicero was the darling of the tech world. Then, 2 reporters at Bloomberg News got a tip. A source told them that some of Juicero's own investors were baffled. They had discovered the secret feature of the juice packs. So, the reporters decided to try it for themselves. They took a Juicero pack. They didn't put it in the machine, they just squeezed it with their hands. And the juice came out. Not just a little, all of it. In fact, squeezing the pack by hand was faster than using the $400 machine. The video went viral. The internet exploded. Juicero became a laughingstock overnight. The company's core value proposition, that you needed a 4-ton press to make their juice, was destroyed in a 90-second video. The emperor had no clothes, and his juicer had no purpose. The fallout was immediate. Juicero's defense was almost as absurd as the product itself. The company claimed the machine was still necessary because its QR code scanner could prevent you from drinking expired juice. But the expiration date was printed right on the pack. CEO Doug Evans went on the defensive, insisting that the machine's 4 tons of force provided a better, more consistent glass of juice. But the damage was done. The public had seen the truth. They had been sold a $400 paperweight. Just 1 day after the Bloomberg story, Juicero offered a full refund to all customers. They slashed the price from $699 to $400. But it was too late. The company was hemorrhaging money and its reputation was in tatters. For the next 4 months, they desperately searched for a buyer. No one wanted to touch the most ridiculed startup in Silicon Valley. On September 1st, 2017, just 16 months after launch, Juicero announced it was shutting down. All $120 million gone. So why did Juicero fail? It's a masterclass in Silicon Valley hubris. They created a wildly over-engineered, absurdly expensive solution to a problem that didn't exist. First, they never validated the problem. People weren't struggling to make juice at home. Second, the price was insane. A $400 machine plus a subscription for juice packs that could be squeezed by hand. Third, they lost all credibility. Once the hand-squeezing video came out, the trust was gone forever. But the biggest lesson of all, sometimes the simplest solution is the best one. You don't need a Wi-Fi connected 4-ton press to make a glass of of juice. Sometimes all you need is your hands.
And what about the founder, Doug Evans? As his company collapsed, he was reportedly at the Burning Man festival, posting videos of himself in the desert. A fitting end for a startup that was more about the Silicon Valley dream than reality. What do you think? Was Juicero the most absurd startup failure of all time? Let me know in the comments. And for more stories of business disasters, make sure to subscribe to The Business Historian. Thanks for watching.